This is for the ladies. You've got hormonal issues in your 30s and your 40s. This is the conversation that you all missed in school, and we're going to have it now. You're going to be pretty happy that you joined us. Welcome, everybody. This is the Life Enthusiast Health Shots podcast, restoring vitality to you and the planet. I'm your host, Scott Patton. Joining us, as usual, Martin Patella, health coach at Life Enthusiast. Hey, Martin, how are you doing?
It's a fine day. Fine day.
All right. Well, this is like Hormonal Health Month, and we're going to spend this week talking about it. And being guys, I don't think that we can say that we have any personal experience with this, but I have to say that my mom went through menopause many moons ago, and I will never forget how frustrated my dad was because she would turn the thermostat up. It's minus 40 out in Winnipeg, Manitoba, and then she would turn it down and open all the doors, and the snow would fly into the house, and then she'd close all the doors and turn the thermostat up, wrap herself in a blanket, throw off the blanket, and and she had an amazing menopause.
And that, Scott, is the epitome of a Western life problem, because when the premenopause hits, the levels of estrogen start going up and down. They dysregulate. They oscillate. One day or one moment you're high, the next moment it's not. And what's supposed to be happening is the liver is supposed to decompose the estrogen that's currently not needed. There's too much of it. And if the liver's capacity is diminished, or if it's just not well, that's when you get hit with these crazy swings of temperature dysregulation.
So you're saying that this is an issue with the liver?
More than anything, yes. It's the thyroid that's regulating the temperature, but it's the liver that's supposed to be removing the unneeded estrogen, and that's where the trouble starts.
And in all of the decades that you have known me, is there one organ that pops out as an issue for me more than any other?
No, the liver is the critical point in your family genetics.
Yeah.
You can probably thank your mom for the challenge that you have had.
And that was something I had no idea about until this very minute.
It's like that. But you know what? I'm a liver problem guy too. I was 6 years old when I was hospitalized with what they called hepatitis. I was 10-year-old when I had another bout of it. I was 15 when I had mononucleosis, which is a Epstein-Barr that hits the liver. In my teens, when I was subjected to the draft, the medical exam showed me with hyperbilirubinemia, too much bilirubin, which I could actually trigger like this by eating too much grease. So before, I did not want to work. I didn't want to be drafted. I did not want to be in the Czech army because I didn't like the Czech government and I was not a patriot there.
Right.
Anyway, so I didn't want to be drafted, so I needed to be ill. So I needed to make myself yellow. So I ate a whole bunch of grease. And they looked at the test, they looked at me and they said, oh, we can't have him in the army. So they gave me what was known as the exemption.
Very interesting.
You could get an exemption with flat feet, but I couldn't fake the flat feet, but I sure could make my liver blow out.
And did you know this at the time?
Well, I did. I knew the consequence. I knew that if I have really greasy meals 3 days in the row, my liver's going to go into overdrive and cause me this bilirubinemia, which is yellow sclera in the eye, and if you overdo it really well, you're going to be yellow in the skin, yellow palms of your hands, all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
So you'd had this experience and you realize like, oh, this is how I can get out of something I really don't want to do.
Yeah, the military did not want me because I would fail, because they wanted to feed me greasy food.
Right. Cool. All right. So let's get back to women.
Oh, yeah, the women. Okay, so men, Scott, are one switch, on, off, okay? And it's the testosterone. Like, a man is happy when a woman shows up underdressed with a tray of food, right?
Right.
That's just,
yes,
it's on or off. With women, they are cycling when they have puberty. When puberty begins, that's when the monthly cycles begin, and the estrogen and progesterone are each other's opposites, and the estrogen gives rise to the renewal, the fertility. Estrus is actually the word for in heat, right? Fertile.
Oh, okay.
And progesterone is the pregnant, progestation, right? So that's the names are actually logical from Latin. And anyway, so during pregnancy, you have higher progesterone. Now, a woman who's about 30 years old and about 7 months pregnant is about at her peak of wellness.
Oh,
because, yeah, I don't know if you remember this, but most women, when they're pregnant between, say, month 3 and 8, are pretty much peaceful Madonnas that cannot be taken out of balance.
Yeah, that wasn't my experience.
I'm sorry about that. Mine was. My wife was just the most lovely thing that you could imagine, who would just forgive anything. I could act stupid, and her high level of progesterone would just have her, yeah, that's silly, rather than
right,
which is what you get when the estrogen is high. If you are having a woman who's just about to hit the period, the peeling of the uterus with the shedding and all of that, just before that, the estrogen level is high, and she's the least friendly of the monthly cycle that you can have.
Got it. Wow.
So let's talk about the normal fertility between, say, age 17 and 47. That's a window during which most things work, regular cycles and all of that. And if they are not working right, if you are experiencing fibrocystic breast, fibrous, or it's the big name is PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. If you're experiencing cysts in the breast, on the ovaries, water retention, and other issues that make the period arrival really unwanted, unpleasant, and awful, and even worse, if you get endometriosis, which is the appearance of the uterine lining tissue on the outside of the uterus, where it would be spreading out like cobwebs throughout the organs, tying up the ovaries to the intestine or to the colon or whatever, just making a mess of all of that. That whole PCOS, that's a dysregulation caused by too much glucose in the diet. It's a metabolic dysregulation. It's not told to you by the medical people, but it is. You could get diabetes or you can get PCOS. They both are linked to too much insulin in circulation.
In other words, you're eating too many sugary things.
Yeah, starch. Starch is your enemy. You're a hunter or a fisherman and you are eating farmer food. Like that.
Yeah. So more meat, more salad, more fish.
Go keto, go paleo. Yeah, those are.
And this is not 100% of the population. I think one of the things that happens when we're talking is people say, oh, Martin said, eat more meat, eat less farmer stuff. But you're the farmer person. Like your family has been on a farm for 1,000 years. You're used to wheat or rice. I mean, the Chinese, the Japanese, they eat rice all the time.
Yeah, Europeans eat wheat, ate wheat, or oats, right? That's the British Isles. That was more porridge and gruel than white bread, right? That was the warmer climates that where that was grown.
Where the bread was. Italy.
Yeah.
And if only we kept making it the way the Italians made it, right?
Mm-hmm. Guess what I forgot to do?
What did you forget to do?
Take the phones out of the room.
I forgot to ask you.
Okay.
I always ask you. But George says, hi, George, welcome again. But I do fine with 60% of my diet of complex carbohydrates.
Yeah, not everybody has to be on the Hunter diet.
It's about self-awareness. If you have a slice of bread, you put you put some jam on it or some honey, and if it's me, I'm sound asleep an hour later on a couch. And if it's you and you're active in everything else, then great. That's not the issue.
Yeah.
So it's about self-awareness. Like we tell nobody what to do. We tell you, if you do this and that happens, or if you do that and this happens, these are things for you to consider as you put together your long-term health plan, because we hopefully want you to be here till you're 100, healthy. But if you don't do these things, then you don't know. Then there's nothing worse than having a chocolate ice cream cone and then wondering why you feel so bad, awful, like an hour later the next day. But if you know that you eat dairy, or you eat creamy stuff, or you eat sugary stuff, or you eat meat, you're going to have this type of reaction most of the time. Like this type of reaction being, who knows what it is? It's your reaction. And it can be a good reaction, or it could be what we would call a bad reaction, right? And we know, we know it, but we don't apply it, right? Like Martin, if you and I have 24 beer in the next 3 hours, we're pretty sure what our results are going to be, right? So when you stick stuff in your mouth, you're going to have certain results. And now you just need, but you don't know all of them. Like you don't know enough of them. So it's a birthday, you have birthday cake, you're sound asleep. Or you have birthday cake and your insulin is spiking and you have all those sorts of problems.
Yeah.
And then if you know that, then it's like, no, I can't have the cake. I'm going to celebrate without the cake. And George hits.
Anyway, just to make it simple, there are there are three, but the main things you need to know: carbs versus fats. One axis is the alkaline versus acidic. Will you be anxiety riddled, or will you be depressed, or something in between? That's regulated by the balance between fats and carbs. The other one is the endocrine dominance, which will control how you gain weight. Some people gain weight with more starch, some will gain weight with more fat, and vice versa. So you may be lucky and you'll be mentally and emotionally balanced while staying slim. Some people are less lucky, and their combination is going to be happy but gaining weight, or nervous. Take a peek. Take a pick. Anyway, this show is about hormones. So let's right there. Scott, the last link I shared with you is a product link called SheMend. Could you just pick that up and show it? SheMend is the product that I would use for women who are in their reproductive years and are having hormonal problems. So that would be the story there. But the
Oh, she
fun.
meant, okay. Let me show you. Let me show the page, and you can tell people a bit more about it. And I'll put it in the comments.
All right. Well, so it's a herbal concoction that has got the herbs in it that help women who are struggling with the balance of things, and it's available in a 1 ounce and a whatever ounce. And you see, Scott gets a discount. He's logged into the website, so he's on the friendly plan. Not everybody gets a discount.
I didn't realize that.
That's how she works in our world.
There we go.
Yeah, that's the regular price.
And one thing I want to mention too is one of the things that Martin
click
does
on the middle button, the one that says 30 mils. Up there. Yeah. That's the intro. You get to try it for $22 and figure out whether this does or doesn't help you a lot.
Yeah. So what I was going to say was, we don't just put, buy this. We tell you what the ingredients are. We give you the instructions on how to take it the way we feel would be recommended. We give you related articles on different aspects of it, of the problem, of the product, and of hormones in this case. And if there's scientific references, we include that as well. So I just want to point out the Life Enthusiast website is a treasure trove of information. And, if you've got any sort of issue, any sort of concerns, we've articles about it. We have different brands. These are all vetted by Martin. We have blogs with all sorts of different stuff. And we have education. Also, appointment. If you want to talk to Martin, head over here. He'll give you a free 15-minute consultation and help you out. So.
Right. Okay, let's try the end of the reproductive years arrives with what's known as the perimenopause. That's like, menopause means menstruation is on pause and it's over. That's the end of your reproductive years. And the perimenopause are the years leading up to it. And the first thing you'll notice is progesterone level goes down. Progesterone is the one that would keep you pregnant. You lose your ability to stay pregnant first. And when less progesterone are the following symptoms: difficulty falling asleep or difficulty staying asleep, irritability goes up, anxiety goes up, mood swings go up, ability to relax is reduced, hot flashes begin, breasts swell and get painful, breasts as in lumps, swollen feet and ankles, irregular periods, scanty menstruation, not much of it, or the opposite, heavy, PMS symptoms, fibroids and endometriosis, infertility, miscarriage, headaches, acne, swollen face, and low bone density. These are all symptoms that are associated with progesterone being insufficient. So the picture Scott just showed, that's a picture of a bottle of progesterone that you can apply topically. Works marvelously well. You figure out your dosage. It's not that hard. You put 1 squirt on in the morning, 1 squirt on in the evening, and you're good.
Where do you put the squirt?
On the skin, somewhere.
Oh, so it goes into the skin.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, here's our description. We have lots of information about it. What is in it? It's really important.
It's essentially I should mention that these are things that we'll be showing you. These are natural, bioidentical. So these are not something that you would derive from a horse or from a goat or whatever. These are the same hormones that your body would make.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's when you want to. By the way, I was reading those symptoms from a list of. We have this thing called the hormone tracker, which anyone who contacts me, I can email that. I cannot publish it, but I can send it to a person who asks for it. There's an entire hormone tracker, and it has on it the reasons you would want to take estrogen, the reason you would want to take progesterone, and the reason you would want to take DHEA. And those are the three main tools we have.
So, Martin, people should email martin@life-enthusiast.com.
They can phone, they can email, they can book an appointment, they can do any one of those many things, how they can contact us, Life Enthusiasts. Their support staff. What you want to ask for is the hormone symptoms tracker.
There you go. Go to life-enthusiast.com. Right along the top is a bunch of ways to get a hold of someone on the team.
Yeah. So let me talk to you about estrogens. So the first thing that you'll notice leading up to the menopause itself, in the perimenopause, first the level of progesterone drops. That's the first thing that happens. The second thing that happens is that the level of estrogen starts collapsing, but not all at once. It's high one day, low the next day, or high at noon and low at dinner. They're like 3 hours later, it's off. Here are the symptoms that are associated with high estrogen: hot flash, night sweat, depression, brain fog, fatigue, tiredness, weight gain. Did I say it correctly, that this is low estrogen?
Yes.
Symptoms. Okay, the ugly ones: vaginal dryness, urinary tract infection, decreased sensuality, like the fun goes out of it, pain during intercourse, urinary leakage, droopy breasts, going flat, pancakes instead of ice cream cones, dry skin, thinning skin, loss of feminine glow, vertical lines around your mouth, like these vertical lines on the lips, high cholesterol, back pain, joint pain, low bone density. These are all from too little estrogen. Now, there is a thing called too much estrogen. Here's what you get from too much: fluid retention, tender breasts, tender nipples, swollen breasts, and just painful breasts. Okay? Don't touch me. When she says, don't touch my breasts, that's probably from too much estrogen at the moment. How about that, right? Women are just so complicated.
Guys to know, right? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
It's normal.
Yeah. It's everyone will have it.
Yeah. It's like, this is normal behavior. No, it's too much estrogen, not enough estrogen. Can you imagine going up to your sweetheart and putting your hand on her shoulder or some other place, and she goes, "Don't touch me," and you go, "You have too much estrogen."
Yep.
We need to do something about that. They're like, what? You just went from an emotional thing to something I'm eating too much of or not enough of?
Yep.
Can we do like normal eating habits that will change this, or do we need to supplement and...
Okay, so before menopause, estrogen is generated by... what the heck makes it? Adrenals and whatnot. After menopause, the only place... No, it's the ovaries that do it. After menopause, it comes from belly fat.
Oh.
So... anyway, you could show this product called Meno-Ease, which is a herbal concoction that we have available, and that the Meno-Ease is designed to help through the transition phase, like the dysregulation and all of that. It will smooth things out. And then I already mentioned progesterone. We also have a product which is a bioidentical estrogen. And we have two, estriol and estradiol, or the combination of the two in a product called Biest. And there's an interesting thing to the estrogen. The estriol is the pregnant woman's hormone, and estradiol is the young woman's hormone. And so you want to have a balance of the two, because one is proliferative and the other one is non-proliferative. So if there is a concern about estrogen-driven cancers, breast cancers, that's caused by the proliferative type of estrogen. So when you combine it with the non-proliferative, it will slow things down. So,
Martin, this all sounds to me like someone, if they think they have issues here, they need to talk to you, because it's like, it's very complex and confusing for my poor male mind.
Yeah, well, I bothered to take the course in female hormones, and I got myself a certified. I even have a diploma somewhere. I don't know where I filed it. It's here somewhere, but I do have a diploma with it.
So you have the knowledge. You have the knowledge base for this.
Yeah. Took the effort to get myself prepared for the hard questions. The hormone tracker is awesome because it has all the things on it that you need to ask, and once you ask it, the answers are all there. So in the last few minutes, let me just talk about testosterone. That can also drop, and we have a precursor to testosterone called DHEA that we make available. And here's what happens to a person with less testosterone: loss of muscle, abdominal fat, cellulite, varicose veins, loss of sexual drive, loss of ability to orgasm, low sensitivity to the stimulation, dry eyes, less confidence, less energy, less stamina, digestive problems, poor repair tissue speed, immune dysfunction, and lower bone density. So that's from not enough testosterone. Even women need it. Here's what you get from too much testosterone: body hair growth, voice changes, aggressivity, oily skin, hair loss on top of your head, and acne. Like when women get dysregulated with too much testosterone, they will start getting hair on their faces, under the nose, and on the sides, and they'll get acne along the jawline, and an oily skin. Yeah. So if you overdo it, you'll see it. But underdoing it is really bad. Underdoing it is a loss of muscle tone, loss of enjoyment of life, loss of enjoyment of sexuality. All of that stuff goes away with not enough testosterone.
So an ideal life is in a balance of some sort between our hormones, the hormones working the way they should be working, not overworking and not underworking.
Yes, exactly. And so you could be really doing just fine through the menopause. You can manage that. We didn't mention the liver products, but we have the liver management. So if you have these crazy times, we will help you get cleaned out so that the hot flashes don't keep happening. And then post-menopause, after the menstruation stops, then if you're experiencing all the symptoms that I mentioned that are associated with the end of reproductive years, you can still have vital function and fun by doing the bioidentical hormonal supplementation. You can really extend your fun years well into until it's time to pull the plug.
Cool. So our message is, if things aren't working right, or you're grumpy and don't like people like touching you, and you used to be fine with hugs, you can do something about it. Like, we don't have to accept everything that's happening as just life. This is the way it is. You're 50. This, you should be happy that you're still alive. No, you can live a vital, vibrant life. And that's part of our mission, restoring vitality to you and the planet. So, Martin, any last words before we say goodbye?
Don't give up. The bioidentical hormone supplementation is actually fine-tuned. It's now, this is not 2003 when you may have heard horror stories. We're 20 years past that. Research is done. The products are cleaned up. There's stuff available over the counter right here with sufficient guidance to make it work.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you for joining us, everybody. We'll be back next week. We look forward to talking with you then. Until then, you've been listening to Martin Patella, health coach, Scott Patton, the co-host, and this has been the Life Enthusiast the Life Enthusiast Health Shots podcast, restoring vitality to you and the planet. Bye for now.
Hey. Hey.
Okay.